How's it going, everybody? So welcome to this edition of First and 10. I'm joined as always with my co-host Matt Etchier. So today we're gonna take a look. This is of course our football show. And we're gonna take a look at the big game today because, as Kenny Loggins said, this is it. Make no mistake about it. The return of the National Football League starts tonight as the New York Football Giants take on the Dallas Cowboys in what should be a real exciting game. And the NFL, I must say, does a tremendous job in picking the first game of the season on national television. And I'm really excited for tonight's game. I definitely know you are, as being a Giants fan.
Huge
but we're going to take a look at that in just a quick minute or so here. For those of you who don't know, I did a podcast breaking down the entire National Football League with divisions and who I thought would go to the Super Bowl. But I'm going to give Matt the opportunity to just basically give his thoughts on who he thinks goes to the AFC and NFC Championship games, and then from there to the Super Bowl. So, Matt, who are you liking for the American Football Conference Championship game?
American Football Conference. I'm going to have to go with Ravens versus the Texans, I think. I think that'll be... Those two teams are going to go deep. And then I think the Ravens are going to win that and go to the Super Bowl.
All right. Well, what makes you think the Ravens got what it takes this year?
Well, I mean, they looked incredible last year, and they haven't really lost anything. And in fact, they've only just gained. And I think as a team and as a whole, they're going to develop over the season. And now they know what it takes. And I mean, biggest key, they got a new kicker. So I think that'll be what'll tip the tails and put them over into the Super Bowl.
Well, I think you and I both do agree. I think Baltimore are just basically the same way. I mean, you really can't stop this team. I think offensively they're solid as a rock at defense, and once Ray Rice starts pounding that football, I think a lot of football teams are going to be in trouble. So I agree with you. I think the AFC champions will be the Baltimore Ravens. And going over to the NFC, who do you like there, Matt?
Green Bay Packers and the San Francisco 49ers. Green Bay got beat out by the Super Bowl champions last year, the New York Giants, midway through the playoffs there. I think they're going to make a return deep into the playoffs, and I actually think they're going to win that game and make it back to the Super Bowl. As for the San Francisco 49ers, same thing as Baltimore. They've just improved on a lot of levels. They haven't really decreased much. And I think that team is a young team, a good team with a core, and they're also going to improve. Unfortunately, I'm picking them to not win that game, though. And as I said, Green Bay and the Ravens, Baltimore Ravens, are going to be in the Super Bowl, I think.
And then who you like in the Super Bowl to hoist the Lombardi Trophy? Will the Packers hoist their own named trophy?
I think it's going to be the Ravens this year.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think it's going to be that'll be an amazing game. I think Green Bay, their amazing offense versus Baltimore's amazing defense. But I just think if you you match those two up, but then if you match up Baltimore's offense versus Green Bay's defense, I think at this point and foreseeing into the future, Baltimore's offense will just be too much for Green Bay's defense, and they're gonna win it.
Well, I think as well that would be a very exciting Super Bowl. Like I said, I picked Baltimore. I took another NFC North football team to go to the NFC Championship game to play the same Niners you said. I took the Bears, and I think the Bears win that game and play the Ravens in the Super Bowl. And I think the Bears win the Super Bowl. As the Bears, they made some massive improvements with Cutler getting his longtime good buddy Brandon Marshall at wide receiver, and I think that's just going to be such a versatile connection that this football team needs. Plus, Matt Forte's got his money, and when Matt Forte performs like he did last year, that's just going to be huge for the Chicago Bears. And really, the Bears have a solid defense in their own right. They're suffering a little bit of injuries to start the season, but I think they can come over that adversity. And I think the Bears do something they haven't done since 1985 and win that Super Bowl. But that's, of course, a long way down the road, folks. We're going to have to get to what starts off today. And today it is, like we said, the start of the season, the Giants, the defending Super Bowl champions, taking on the Dallas Cowboys, a team who last year they did play in the last week of the season, and it was a win or go home game, and really the Giants showed up 110% in that one. I believe Tony Romo had injured his throwing hand in that game, and Tony did try to fight to make things happen for the Cowboys, but it was just too little too late for him in that department. And what are you looking forward to in today's game?
I mean, it's amazing that it's my team that's going to be in it, but I think I'm mostly excited for what all football fans are excited for, is the beginning of the NFL season once again. The very first kickoff, I'm just going to be jacked up. It's going to be amazing. So I'm looking forward to that and the emotions around that as a football fan. But in terms of the game itself, I think it's going to be a very gritty, like one of the best rivalry games between the Giants and Dallas, simply because of all these storylines. Giants put Dallas out in Week 17 last season, then went on to win the Super Bowl. How upset must the Dallas Cowboys be? All those returning players on that team must just have so much hatred for the Giants. And I think the Dallas Cowboys are going to play with more emotions than the Giants. But the Giants also have something that they keep seeing and you keep hearing about, is they say that they're so underrated. No one appreciates that team, even still now after they won the Super Bowl. So many people are still skeptical of this team. So I think that's what the Giants have to feed off of, and they need to continue to show the nation that they are an incredible team.
Well, I mean, I think the Giants definitely can do that. I think personally the Giants this year are going to start off like they have in previous seasons, start off really hot when the weather's still nice and everything. But I think once we get to the end of the season here, I think the Giants are going to cool off and have the struggle that they do, and have New York sports fans call for the head of Tom Coughlin, even though he's won 2 Super Bowls for you guys. But I think the Giants start this game off really well. To me, it's going to be more how can the Cowboys handle all kind of the awkward nonsense they've had with their wide receiver, Dez Bryant. I mean, he's got, these Dez rules. He basically has to be a babysitted grown man for like the rest of the season, which I don't know if I agree with. I mean, he's a grown man. He can make up his own decisions if he wants to go to a strip club or a bar or something like that. But we'll see what happens with it. I'm really excited to see what the Cowboys can bring to the table here. I've seen some of them in the preseason. They look very motivated and ready to, take the next step that they have been put on a pedestal really to do. And it's to me going to be, how does Tony Romo handle that New York defense? That New York defense to me is still one of the best defenses in the league. And you think Tony can handle you guys' defense tonight, or is a new Tony Romo going to be born?
Well, I don't. It'll be interesting to see that matchup. Definitely when Tuck and Umanera are both healthy, they're dominant and hard to stop. Now, if Dallas can stop them, Tony Romo statistically is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I think he just has some clutch problems, but I think I don't know. It's hard to say whether he is going to be like a new Tony Romo or not. I think he's going to play fine. I think he's going to play the same way he always does. He doesn't.
So a lot of interceptions when it counts, right? That's what you're saying, basically. It's going to come down to Dallas in the last drive, and Tony throws a couple picks in there.
It very well could be. It's tough to say. I'm excited about it nevertheless.
No offense, Cowboy fans, but that's true, especially Week 1 last year against the Jets and that game against Detroit where he was making throws that not even, 4-year-olds would have made throws like that. But, I think it's also going to depend on the Cowboys' defense against, the Giants. Kind of, they've lost some guys like Manningham, but to me, I think the big key, they still have Bradshaw, and they still have, obviously Eli, and they still have, I think his new number 1 favorite target, Victor Cruz, who's I hope to see some salsa dancing tonight, personally. But how can the Cowboys really just handle that guy, that offense, I should say, because that offense, when it's clicking and on all cylinders, as we saw in the playoffs, is absolutely scary. And you think this Cowboys defense is going to do a good job of containing you, or is it going to be like how the Week 17 game started, where Cowboys were just basically taken over by the Giants?
They're going to have to stop the run. Bradshaw, for the first time ever, doesn't have anyone breathing over his shoulder. And so I think that's going to make him a better running back. And I think Giants are going to come out just pounding the ball right up the middle. And if Dallas can prevent the Giants from stopping or from running, if Dallas can prevent Giants from running, then I think they're going to struggle with their pass offense as well. So it's going to come down to that. It's going to come down to the battle of the trenches. At the same time, you got to get pressure on Eli. Yes. When he has time to throw, he can make some amazing throws. But if you're making him uncomfortable, as with any quarterback though, but if you're making him uncomfortable, he's just not going to be able to make those spectacular plays.
Well, I guess, we've basically looked at both sides of the football here. Final score, who do you see winning this first football game of the 2012 NFL season?
Giants are going to win it 21-17.
21-17. I as well think the Giants win this one. No offense, Cowboy fans, but I do think the Cowboys win that division this year. I would maybe say it comes down to the last drive for Dallas where they try to, get into field goal range, and I kind of see the same similarities where Dallas kind of messed it up against the Jets, and I say probably maybe a 28-24 victory for the New York Football Giants.
So 4 points, we're saying. Basically.
Yeah, 4 points. Yeah. Or the game-winning drive, and Tony messes it up at some point and gets all the criticism on him. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for tonight, like you said, not just because it's the Cowboys and Giants, but football's back, folks. I mean, we had the nice little preview for the NCAA kicking off last Saturday. And, of course, since we are Canadian, we had the Labor Day Classic weekend here, and it was a little rough for me, as I'm a Ticats fan, and I don't know what's going on with them. But it's really all about Sunday and Monday. For you, of course, for us football fans, Mondays, of course, extra sweet as you get not one but two Monday night football games. I guess before we let you get all the beer and the popcorn and stuff ready for tonight's game, we're going to take a look at some of the games on Sunday and the double shots on Monday. Any games really to interest you? I mean, I think there's a couple interesting ones here. The other New York team, the Jets and the Bills, play week 1 in the Meadowlands. I think that'll be an interesting one. Quickly, who do you think wins that one?
Well, I think Jets, but I think it's an interesting matchup because, I'm sorry, I know, big Bills fan over here, but no, I think the Jets are the better team on paper. It'll be a great matchup, but this will be a great game for the Jets, and for all the viewers. We'll get to see exactly
what they're about.
Exactly what they're about, what Sanchez is going to be about, and that whole controversy there.
Well, I'm going to take the Bills just because this offense has not been clicking at all, and they have had more drama than anything on the Jersey Shore. So I really think the Bills' brand new defense can do enough to stop Mark Sanchez and Tim Tebow. Maybe they'll have to bring the third string in there, who did throw a touchdown pass, unlike Sanchez and Tebow. I think, our offense can get clicking. It seemed like they got things going, the first-string offense, on week 4 of the preseason, but I'm not going to hold anything to that. Of course, the golden boy of the NFL, the new number 1 draft pick for the Indianapolis Colts, Andrew Luck, he makes his debut against, to me, a real tough team earlier on, the Chicago Bears. Who you like in that one?
I gotta go with Indianapolis. I must say, I'm a huge fan of Luck. I think Indy's record last year, just throw that out the window. That doesn't matter. A team as crushed as they were, they had given up. I think Luck gives them a newfound motivation, and I think it's going to be a close game, but I really do believe in that kid and believe in the Indianapolis Colts of old, and I think they'll beat the Bears.
Well, I mean, that's definitely a very interesting pick. I think, Luck may have a season like Peyton did when he was a rookie, and a real terrible season, but, I've seen him play, and don't get me wrong, I do think he's the future of the franchise, and I've seen him make, veteran decisions out there with the football, even when, he's a rookie at the moment. But in the other interesting game to me is the second-round draft pick, RG3, and the Washington Redskins. They play a very interesting team in their own right. The New Orleans Saints, the depleted New Orleans Saints. I'm really interested in seeing this game because, the Saints defense isn't going to be as ferocious as they were last year.
Trying to hurt people.
Exactly. They basically took the Sopranos-like mentality out there on the football field, but they won't be like that this year. But they're taking on an explosive young quarterback in RG3 in the Washington Redskins with a new set of receivers that they can throw to. Who you like in that one, and what are you thinking about that game?
I don't know who you're picking, but I still got to go with the Saints. They're just a solid team all around. I mean, I know they're missing their head coach, but I just think the core of players there, they're all about winning. They know Redskins love what they've done in the offseason, but just not enough to beat the Saints yet.
I agree, not enough to beat the Saints because really it's going to be Drew Brees and Jimmy Graham show personally against a very old Washington Redskin defense. The big game to me in the afternoon, I should say, or the 4 o'clock games, is when the San Francisco 49ers take on the Green Bay Packers. Now, I don't know how I didn't know about this game, but this is really like a number 1 contender fight that you'd see in boxing or MMA, and it's to start the season. I mean, what a tough test for both teams. Green Bay, it seems like forever since we've really talked about the Green Bay Packers. San Francisco's got a lot of notice in the offseason from the big pickups with Randy Moss and Brandon Jacobs and Mario Manningham. Who you like in this one? Because I think this one is almost too tough to call.
Well, this is my conference
NFC championship
NFC matchup, and I still gotta go with Green Bay.
Okay.
Once again, love what 49ers have done, but I just think Green Bay they're gonna be ready to win.
I agree. I think Green Bay, we somehow have slept on Green Bay, and that's just astonishing when you think about it with, the number 1 offense in the National Football League, and probably the best or second best quarterback in the league in Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to have to go with Green Bay. I mean, it is at Lambeau too. Sure, Lambeau isn't the frozen tundra yet, but it's still Lambeau. That crowd is just going to be amped. And, for Aaron Rodgers too, he's playing a team that he thought was going to be drafted by, and that's also a big motivation in your own right. So I really like Green Bay. And then, of course, the Sunday night one is going to be a very interesting game in its own right as the Pittsburgh Steelers take on Peyton Manning's Denver Broncos. It's still a little awkward to say, but I'm excited to see this one. I've seen the Broncos a little bit towards the end of the preseason, and they didn't really razzle-dazzle in the last week against the Arizona Cardinals, but I think with Peyton at the helm, they can be a really, really exciting team. I like Denver in this one. I think Pittsburgh's defense, while good, I'm still questioning them. They have some guys hurt and out of place, and it seems like it could be a little bit breaking down. But I don't know. What do you think about that one?
I agree with you. Denver Broncos are going to take that. It's tough to say with the Steelers. I feel like they kind of lost their identity a bit last year. I know that they've been saying they're going to run the ball a lot more on offense this year. But the Denver Broncos, their team as a whole last year was just amazing. All they were missing was a quarterback. Now they have one. I say look out for them all year.
Exactly. I definitely agree. Plus, they may have the best special teams in the National Football League. And then, of course, Monday, the double shots in some real big division games in the AFC. You got the Cincinnati Bengals and the Baltimore Ravens. I think this will be a real exciting game. The Bengals looking to take that next step. They played the Ravens real close last year, but they just didn't have enough gas in the tank to get the victories against Baltimore. I don't think they do this week. I think Baltimore, especially because it's at Baltimore, I think Baltimore is, like we have said in the start of this video, Baltimore's got too high-powered on offense, on a solid defense. I think Baltimore wins this one, but I think Cincinnati gives Baltimore a run for their money.
It's a very important game for both of these teams. Division matchup at the beginning of the season. Like, these are the games you just can't give up. I agree. I think both teams are going to battle it out to the bitter end, but Baltimore is going to come out on top.
And then the last one, it's in the big Wild Wild West, the San Diego Chargers and the Oakland Raiders. I may surprise a few people here, but I'm going to take the Oakland Raiders in this one. I really like Oakland this year to even potentially be a wild card team. They just were edged out by these same San Diego Chargers last year in Week 17, so they're motivated for that. I think the offense for Oakland is just maybe one of the most underrated. I mean, Carson Palmer, you got Darren McFadden, and Darius Hayward-Bay. Him and Palmer just seemed like they were A and B connection-wise. I really like Oakland this year. I just don't think San Diego is going to really excite me as much. They had some big losses in the offseason, plus they don't have Matthews to start the season. What are you thinking about this one? Do you think San Diego can pull it out?
I don't think you said it was maybe surprise people. I don't think that surprises people. I think a lot of people will say Oakland's going to win this game. San Diego may be the more proven team as of late, but I think, Carson Palmer starting the season with Oakland this year. I think they have lots of weapons. You mentioned some of them. He has another wide receiver named Moore who's amazing. And I think their defense is better.
Yes.
So San Diego, yeah, Ryan, especially without Ryan Matthews, I think they're going to lose. But I don't think they're going to be a very, like, a contender at all. Definitely Oakland's going to win this game.
Well, people that are not going to lose is us football fans because it's back, folks. I mean, I can't wait. So make sure you get your popcorn, get everything ready. I'm excited for tonight and for all the way. We'll be here all the way with you until that Super Bowl. So stay with us, and that's it for now. Peace out.